Hello everyone, welcome to Unit 2. And in this unit, we are going to focus on graph and chart description. Well, this unit will focus on three things: describing bar charts, line graphs, and double line graphs. And bar charts will be tested in quiz 2. And the midterm writing will be focused on a double line graph description. All right, so here is the general graph description structure that we in LANC 2146 stick to. Now, of course, it will be a little bit different, like in a bar chart description compared to a double line graph description. But in general, this is the structure we stick to. So there should be a title that has information about X and Y axis. I suggest you take a look at the samples we have available for you, and like highlight the information and see where is what. Yeah. Then we have introduction. Introduction looks pretty much like the title. The first sentence looks pretty much like the title, but more extended. Yeah. Introduction is a very short thing. It consists of like 2 or 3 sentences, but it's there to introduce the graph to the reader. Yeah. So the first sentence you start with is, what is the graph about in general? Something like, the graph compares the prices of this and prices of that. Yeah. Or the graph illustrates the changes of the prices like from this year to this year. And then you talk about what is X and Y axis about, and if necessary, if it's important, you mention the units of measurement. Yeah, what is it? Is it kilogram, gram, dollar per pound, or what is it about? Yeah, if it's just numbers, it's not clear. Then the main part of the description is analysis, and that's where the difference is when we talk about a bar chart, a line graph, and a double line graph. So apart from a general trend and other trends, you need to include a certain language, specific language structures that we are talking about. When you describe a bar chart, you make a comparison. Most likely it's a comparison. Yeah? Comparison of values, so you need to use the language of comparison, the compare and contrast structures, comparative adjectives and adverbs. Yeah. When you describe a line graph, line graphs show changes through time, so you will need to use the language of changes, like increase, decrease, drop, fall, and stuff like that. In the double line graph description, we have both change and comparison, because you have 2 line graphs that you compare, right? And also line graphs show changes, each of the lines. So you need to use both of them. And when you describe all these trends, you need to use statistics to support the points. Yeah, you can see that in the samples. And in conclusion, you need to explain the trends. Explain the trends that you were describing in analysis. You give the reasons for them. You need probably to read about the topic and be able to explain it. Yeah. If there are some unusual trends, something unusual, something that is clearly different from the rest of the values, you need to describe it here in the conclusion too. Also, you need to talk about why is this information in the graph important? What's the purpose of the graph? How can the information in the graph be used in our life, and by who? Yeah, by scientists, by ordinary people, governments, and stuff like that. And then you give your advice, suggestions to these people who this information is for. You can make here predictions. Depending on the topic, sometimes it's not very possible. And give advice, suggestions, and also future research recommendations. What else can be researched on this topic? Yeah, how can this topic be viewed from a different perspective? So that's what you need to write about. And here is the language that you need to use: the language of giving opinion, different degrees of certainty, predictions, advice, purpose and method, everything you discussed in Unit 1. And what I suggest you use is the graph description samples. There are samples for the bar chart description, line graph, and double line graph. And also quiz 2 and midterm exam rubrics, so that you are sure what you are getting marks for and what you need to improve. Well, good luck to you in this unit.